The elites are so far off the needs of the many, they're starting to take credit for atmospheric changes in temperature. Welcome to the weekend show with Mediumjay. You know, these fuckers are fucking taking credit for the change in climate. I don't know. I didn't know how they're going to do it. Turns out they're going to get everybody eventually, down in California, once this bill gets paid, they're going to get everybody getting electric cars now. Now everybody's forced to get an electric car. They say you can keep your car, but eventually that car is going to just suddenly not have a shop for you. Suddenly that car ain't going to have, any parts. You won't be able to get oil for it. It's a switch to electric oil. These fucks, man. They're killing the climate. They're the ones killing the climate, really. We're gonna just all switch into what happened when the California. Remember that California power outage that happened back in the day? What was it? It was this year. It was this year. A power outage. So many people just plugging in their electric vehicles. Being the good old citizen, thinking that they're getting free energy. These motherfuckers think they're getting free energy out there, man. So I'm gonna kill climate change for y'all motherfuckers. I'm killing climate change. I gotta kill climate change in people's heads as this big scary. I gotta defeat climate change myself. So Greta Thunberg said, and the guy who played Wolf of Wall Street one time is telling me that I have to worry about temperature. That's what they're saying to me. They're looking me and my kids dead in the eyes. And they're saying, you have to worry about climate change. It's a big impact on your life. This is what they said. Remember during the summer when there's kind of a little bit of heat wave in our city. And then there was a kind of coming back from the winter was one of the worst. One of my friends says worst since the 80s. And he's a little bit older dude. He was alive back then. He said he never seen it that bad since the 80s. It was that bad snow. So it did happen. And these cycles change, right? These cycles change. Temperature changes. It's just sometimes it rains. Next day. It's nice and sunny. What, did the temperature change? Come on. Did the temperature change? Did it? Yes, technically. It's climate change. From a 24-hour cycle? Come on. It's just time. We're just all on time. Everyone's 100,000 years from now. Ice age. Sometimes there's just ice ages. There's tropical rain for days at a time, just flooding. Sometimes BC just catches on fire. Let's just throw that out there. Every now and then fucking Halifax will flood. All right. Winnipeg will freeze over and it'll be worse than Mars. At certain points it'll get worse than areas on Mars. That's how cold it gets and that's how, so there's fire on the West Coast. There's flooding in the East Coast. There's a torrential earthquakes on the fucking north, and it's just so much stuff. But it just happens. Can we agree that we're sitting on a rock? And it doesn't really even matter, man. But let me get this straight. We got these fucking celebrities, right? And this fucking woman. She's a woman. Greta Thunberg's a woman, and who looks like she suffers from severe mental fucking retardation. And I can say this because I'm talking legitimately about a retardant on her brain that's slowing down the neurons firing from thought to thought in her side. Her head looks shrunken, like a witch put a curse on her, man. I'm telling you, man. Shouts out to whoever fucking hit Greta Thunberg with the curse of bearing the entire global. She's like Jesus Christ with climate. I'm gonna go, this girl's caring enough about it. She's caring for the world. She's doing whatever. And then it turns out this chick's out here, and I wrote it down, that she's taking private jets. So come on, man. she's taken a private jet at least once in her life. We can all agree, right? How did she get to? Did she boat there? Did she boat to India from America? Come on, come on. What if she did and immediately got raped? She came back a woman. But I'm saying that this bitch says that I have to worry about the fucking clouds in the sky. So she's like all worried about the fucking sun in the clouds. And this fucking guy who's, let's be honest, his best character is just pretending to be Matt Dillon in Good Will Hunting. That's all every Leonardo DiCaprio movie is. He's like, alright, I'll act like this, and then I'll act like that. Then I'll do this. That's why even in Shutter Island, it didn't really make sense because he was like, oh yeah, so I'm doing this. Okay, now we'll flip it back to that. And then he could just spin the thing and see if he's in a dream. And it's like that other movie. And then the other movie is like, him, Wolf of Wall Street, I'll just get the money and I'll do this in the stocks and then I'll do this and I'll do every movie. And then he gets in Revenant, he's in with a bear and then a bear beats me up and then I'm over here. Now I'm over there with getting slammed by a bear, right? And then I'm out of there. And it's every single fucking who gives a fuck about Leonardo DiCaprio? He's the best actor known to mankind. Let's see, go through it. Does he any other movies? I don't know. Every time I see him, I'm like, he's just a guy pretending to be a guy. That's all he is. He's not really a guy. His soul has no home. That's why he likes 25-year-old girls. They're so young that they don't know. He's stuck in. He's trying to find himself. He's still stuck at 25. When you got that, like, you're out of teen angst, but you still have like the real world dread. You know, like when you're right around 26, 27, you kind of can find a path to deal with that, like the world sucks and you're broke. Like, you know what I mean? You gotta, right around the time you find some money and you just deal with it. Right? Because it does suck for those like out of college years at like 20, but you're in this weird, like, we can save the world, and nothing more screams saving the world than Leonardo DiCaprio talking about we gotta worry about. When he said that on the thing, my mom was like, this is like that one time when Marlon Brando, you know, brought up that Native American woman for the you know, what is it called? You put it up the yeah, you guys can pull it up. I don't even have my internet connected right now. They shut it off because apparently the power is outage. There's an outage on the power outage. You know, they shut that, like, this fucking turned off the internet. Can still use my lights and stove and gas and fridge and everything. Turned off the internet somehow. This fucking Shaw's having something. But what the fuck was I saying? Totally forgot. Oh yeah. Welcome to the weekend show. There's a lot of people worried about climate change, and I'm telling you, man, Leonardo DiCaprio, we'll go back onto. He wants me to stop using gas cars because it's the fear of the strain on the environment. So first of all, I already have a car. I bought a car, and the guy that, you know, we'll side note this for a second. The guy that told me that I was gonna buy, I asked the guy, I'm like, this car is great, right? It's fucking 2014. I bought it in 2015. I was like, yo, this is a good car. It's going to last me a while. He's like, yeah. And I go, if I take care of it, you know, obviously I'm going to have to spend money down the road on some point on tires or whatever, you know, brand new engine or something. Like, eventually it's just going to wear out. I know this. I'm not a dummy. But if I take care of it, he's like, yeah, it's an investment. And I tried to pride myself on, you know, putting the best stuff for my car and, you know, giving it the best, you know, grade coolant and the best grade fucking, you know, fluids, you know, take it to a nice shop where they're not just gonna do bare minimum tape them up job, right? And And I'm trying to get my car for as long as I can get it. And the guy's like, yeah, for sure, you can have it. Now they want to switch it to electrical vehicles. So I go, what the fuck's the point? I just wasted all my money in trying my best to keep a car for my lifetime. That's gas. And so I made the unfortunate mistake of literally doing the only option that was available. Thanks. Thanks, government. Thanks, government, for letting and in parading around these people. Who the fuck is Greta Thunberg? And Leonardo DiCaprio, and we'll get back onto it. And my mom was like, yo, this is like the time when Marlon Brando brought up that Apache. Turns out she's Mexican. The girl's Mexican. Her last name's De La Cruz, dude. Her mother's like, I don't know where she got that from. I think she was acting. I think that was a whole act, I think. That's what her mother says on record, right? So this whole thing's a fraud. This whole thing's a sham. Leonardo DiCaprio doesn't care about fucking climate change. You think he's like really at home banging 20 to 22? It's probably 20 to 22 is his range, right? Because it's questionably it's not that bad. 22 to 20, 20 to 22, and it's not like, it's not so fucking like old that she's lost all hope. And there's a lot of and the thing is, who the fuck does he get off except these 22 to 23 year old chicks getting like me to feel bad about fucking climate change? In all honesty, man, who you shouldn't feel guilty that a giant company is fucking that you work for happens to be polluting. You can't do anything about it. We're so broke. We're still in that weird stage. Like even middle class, as I said, like we have dropped. Back in the day, they used to say about 20 to 30% of people can't afford. They can't afford up to 500, or was it a thousand? It was like an 800 to 500,000, no, $100 or $1,000 expense just coming out of the blue. That would put them into debt, and they'd have to take out loans or something. They pulled that like 5-10 years ago, right? Which was like money was so much like that 500 to 1,000, and they dropped it too. So they also said like about 500, $500-$600. It's still the same price. Nowadays, it puts people like at like 70 to 80% would be put into debt with that same unknown thing if it happened in a month. Which sucks. It's like $500 to literally just put you in the worst financial burden possible. And it's not that inflation's bad. It's that it doesn't stop. It's not technically considered, like, inflation should mean that it's overly inflated, right? Inflation, things shouldn't go continuously to inflate. At this point, it's an explosion or a bubble, and it's eventually, if it's gonna pop, it's gonna pop. But the pop would be so catastrophic to know that the government could have prevented this easily by just consistently not taking out the entire world on pause for 2 years for something that we weren't really sure about, because now the data's like, all right, it's not that bad. And it's like, come on, man, did we really have to do this whole thing? Climate change is a joke. When I bought a car, I thought it would last a lifetime. California implemented this 2035, all cars be sold with electric vehicles. Zero emissions is the goal by then. And the population is grandfathered with the gas cars. They're grandfathered in, so they, by that time they're going to stop selling them, but you're still going to be able to drive them. But the plan, they said, is coming in stages, because they want in the first 4 years 35% of all new cars sold to be electric. Then the goal eventually will hit 100% by 2035. So 2035, they want to be 100% electric vehicles with zero carbon emissions, aside from cars grandfathered in, the companies that essentially operate in the business of profits are still going to be emitting carbon. It's just a fact. They have to be. There's no way that we just turn everything electric. And the average citizen is still going to emit carbon, like average cows and dairy farms and everything. This whole thing is fucking a silly thing. It's just a silly it's almost like a new thing to filibuster on, where we've been polluting for so long without thinking about it, that the fact that we created a law and then said we have to fight the law, and then people are like, the law's a conspiracy. Well, it's weather changes, people. Climate changes. Temperatures change. The sun gets too close to us. Sometimes it gets too far from us, right? Sometimes we're spinning on a slant that's just a foot closer. And when they said that, like if a foot closer, remember when they said back when you're a kid or something, you're like in school and a kid would tell you, hey, listen, if the earth moved 10 feet closer to the sun, we'd all be dead. I was like, no way. No way. So I just accidentally got on a 10-foot ladder and I would have been burned to death. It's just so stupid, man. But yeah, you believe that stuff as a kid, man. But we shouldn't, as adults and as the people that want to lead the country, and as people that want to take over the politicians and get paid for dealing with actual things. You're never going to be able to fix climate change, and you're only just getting more money. I don't understand how the climate incentive bonus. It's like, what is a climate incentive bonus? Like, it's like, hey, you got a zero emissions electric vehicle. And it's like, dude, like you just buy what's available, man. You just buy what's available, and you go to the store and they tell you. It's wild that we're now, as a person that you drove trucks or drove cars or anything, and you just woke up one day and now they're starting to like there's activists fighting against you because you are doing a job that was here long before you're alive, just people delivering things to stores. It just happens to be like, I guess horses would still emit horses is shit. I think we gotta get, maybe the Amish might have had it right, because I think we're seriously kicking ourselves in the foot if people really want to mandatory. They should have both and have it more equal and go tip one scale and let the market regulate itself, right? But California thinks we have to stop using all the we have to stop using all the fucking dinosaur fossils. We have to somehow stop that'll somehow stop the weather from changing, If we stop using the dinosaur fossils that's in the ground and take the carbon out of the ground and extract it into the atmosphere, probably layer our earth too with decent. People always talk about the ozone layer being destroyed, but what if we destroyed the ozone layer and made it better? What if we made it bigger, better, faster, stronger? People always know, like, who the heck comes up with silly ideas, right? And this is why I'm like literally the fucking Nikola Tesla of today's times. Because here's something I'll throw out to people. If you just created some sort of fucking weather stripping that was holographic and also in this weird like camo but not camo layer net as protection of like damaged ozone layers, you could essentially fuse little pieces together of the sky and it would create a better ozone. But these people don't want to. These people don't care about actually solving climate change. They don't actually care about thinking about. If you're actually, imagine just putting drapes up. It sounds stupid as fuck, but you can take two giant satellites on both ends and just fly them out there and just have it thing, and then whenever the drones eventually like drop out of the sky from, I don't know, it just fucking eventually just moves off and rotates. You just fucking, just send some more. You probably have better drones by then. Yeah, it's just a giant drape in the sky. Block. Because but we'll never get too close to the sun. It's more likely that we'd get further away from the sun, which is scary. It's very scary, because then that means the whole ice will just be instantly dead the moment we fall out of the sun, and it's just instantly cold and just freeze over. But there are probably going to be some people or some things like cockroaches survive. Some maybe even people like that's the sewer people, the dwellers, because those are the people that always survive. It's always like cavemen there's probably cavemen living today. We keep a couple cavemen spare just because they're gonna be the ones that will survive if we accidentally nuke ourselves. So just let the cavemen, like in a nuke-proof nuclear seal. He's sealed, and then he comes on. He breaks free once like thousands of years when the fucking the lock is just deteriorates from oxygen hitting it for so long in the years, and it just breaks open, and he gets in through, and then he's like, this is what climate he smells the grass, like it was climate change. That's what climate change happens. No, it's gonna kill everybody. No, it's the thing about climate change is, if it did kill everybody, though, how would we stop it? Like, that's the one thing where it's like, it's gonna kill everybody, we gotta stop it. But I go, like, how then? If it's a big deal, then why would you bring it up? If you do, well, we know how to do it. We just need your guys' help. And I go, it's, very rare are things that are good for the earth need to be voted upon. Like, it's like, should we do something about climate change or should we not? And it's like, if we don't, what's the difference? Well, nothing for yet. And then you can't go yet. It's like, yet could mean 100,000 to 10,000 years, and no one cares. You know what I mean? Yet could mean 2 weeks from now. There's no time difference on yet. So I think they're playing fast and loose with language in the politician's office, and I'm sick and tired of it, man. I'm tired of them making the average person feel bad that they want to throw a fucking catalyst converter into the fucking ocean. If you do anything, if you litter anywhere, it just becomes compost. Even plastic more so would probably be better if we just laid plastic all over the street, because eventually it would just add to the roads, and it'd probably strengthen up and probably fill a couple of potholes, to be honest, if you just fill it with sewage and the average person's fucking throw fucking our potholes are so bad, you get one of those fucking dumpsters and just fill it up with that, and that'll be good to skate over. Right. So we got bigger things to worry about climate change. People always talk about climate change as this thing. I swear, man, the leaders only have 3 or 4 packages to really choose from on how to handle things. And even when they go guessing like eeny, meeny, miny, mo, they still fuck it up. Like, this is like, they gotta have real implementations to make the right decision. You gotta know information, right? You gotta know that these things are political weapons to just get people to fight over something, and then they get to pick the sides and also the end goals. But it's like, when the government's trying to control the weather, it gets into a very tricky situation. To say that we can control the weather is even a wilder dream to say that, because I still think to this day, we know how rain happens, but we don't know really how, like, tsunamis build up so extravagant, and then like to predict how many hurricanes. It's just random. You can't predict when a volcano is going to erupt, and it scares a lot of people. You can't predict. They could try their best with the instruments they have. Sometimes they go sunny, and you go, it's fucking raining. They go, what the fuck is? It's saying this is a live broadcast that says it's sunny right now. It's dark, raining, and it came in a second, and they couldn't update it because it's on like a 5 to 10 minute ticker or whatever, right? So when the elites try to fucking strong arm the average citizen into saying that they can just fix climate change with reducing their carbon footprint, it's all bullshit, right? It's like a woman with access to a thermometer and she's going through menopause, right? These people, they're irrational. These elites are irrational. They have those weird sex parties. They don't know what real work for, like, real work for a relationship is. They just fucking go to therapy, and they have They have their two therapists talk it out and figure out what's best for them. Man, shit is going to be ice cold if that woman's. Because these leaders who run the world are living in the Bahamas and they're sipping margaritas with the devil, man. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't. Don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about me. They don't even give a fuck about this earth. If climate change were to happen, right, and seriously impactful they wouldn't even mention it unless it could make them money. And that's the truth. That's the truth. Like, a lot of people, they go throughout their day-to-day lives thinking the government's gotta kind of care. Now, do you care about your job? No. Do I care about my job? No. Do that all the way up to the president, do that all the way up to the prime minister, do that all the way up to the global leaders of society, do that all the way up to the people in your community. They're doing the job but at the end of the day, the job becomes a job. Eventually, you're going to make some decisions that you'll regret, some mistakes that and then some friends along the way, but I bet a lot more enemies. And in the political game, you see some dirty shit popping up. Like, your whole past gets fucking lit up with like runway access to people's information, right? Like, it'd be tough, man. It'd be tough. All the bad stuff you have. That's why I think a lot of losers right now are becoming our presidents, or at least mayors or district attorneys or whatever, like city councils. People that are running, they're just losers that never had a wild past, and that someone that has never been through anything tends to make up shit like climate change. Come on, man. Climate change. Like, it's like, are we not worried about stuff at all? I'm only worried about the money. We're all only worried about the money. People are homeless more and more. Fix that. Well, give them money. We need money. If you had some money, and don't make fucking this shit land that's not even being used that expensive. Drop the price down, man. If you can't sell, if there's a whole apartment blocks that are less than half empty, right? They're more than half full or whatever. There's a whole bunch of fucking empty, fucking vacant apartment blocks and hotels just for whatever reason. You should just charge, like, you just drop the price. No one's there, and you just show up. You show up with a blanket on, and that's it. You come in with like a tent, couple of fucking boxes of Kraft dinner, and then one rusted out spoon that you use just for like scooping up items and drinking from fucking water fountains. You let him in for like $10, man. Just give a slide to take $10 to the guy. You know what I mean? Let him into your hotel, right? Yeah, it's just but like the guy, obviously, for the homeless, if you become well enough to listen to this podcast with a phone or any piece of technology that you hear, don't take advantage of that. You know what I mean? Because you could probably go to any place and just do the puppy dog eyes for like a month. And you gotta get yourself back in the grips of society and start. Once a homeless gets a job, you go, okay, well, he's got it together. You go, he's better have it together. He's got a job. Instantly, he should have a home soon. But like nowadays with credit, you need credit, which blows my mind. It blows my mind that you need a good credit. Like a homeless guy's like, I need a home, please, please. I got just enough money for this month. Let me in for 1 month. And if I try my best, maybe I'll get enough for the next month. We'll just continue. And the guy's like, no, that's bad. You got bad credit. No, you got bad credit. I'm sorry, Mr. Sorry, your name's Ligma Johnson. Yeah, well, the kids called me that. I forgot my own name. It's the kids that I get that sometimes I take baked goods at the culinary arts school. The kids been calling me Ligma Johnson, so that's my they don't give a fuck about these people, man. You think the elites, I don't want the elites to answer, right? Is if you fucking go through the list of never-ending pros and cons to the climate change cycle, the politicians filibuster for literal decades before voting on something you know nothing about, right? We're gonna make sure you vote on this, but it doesn't even matter. Why are we dealing with things that don't matter? I don't understand. Even if abortion was illegal, women, you gotta understand how easy it is to give yourself an abortion. Drink 2 packs of Red Bull. That's it. You just drink just a pound of Red Bull. Just take a quick pound of Red Bull. Take a line of cocaine. That baby's not surviving, dude. No, well, you'd probably need a line of cocaine, maybe a hit of acid, and a bottle of Jack Daniels. That baby's fucking done, dude. Like, why would you be worried so much about that? You hop on a roller coaster if you're not into drugs, right? And it'll probably, the whirling motion. If you have, they say that even strobe lights can affect that'd be a bitch ass. What kind of bitch ass baby just dies from your mother watching too much lighting? That's gotta suck. Back. We're really coddling these kids nowadays. There's a lot of things. There's the swaddling, and it's like, I don't want my baby to worry about climate change, right? So on the one side, climate change is man-made. It's real. Sound the alarm. It'll cause the earth to burn on fire, or flood or freeze, right? Ice caps are melting, people, and it's all our fault. We gotta worry about this so much, right? It's like sound the alarm, and keep doing these fucking the taxes on emissions. It's wild. They are eventually going to start charging people for air, which is going to be clean air. It's common. You can see it. You can see what like the laws are getting to, and it goes in a weird fucking all-encompassing thing for everything's going to be written in law eventually, right? But at this one point, they're going to fucking we gotta fucking charge all this stuff towards. That's the one side. Now on the other side, there's this global change in climate, and it's a myth. That's it. That's the other side. Is the theory indicates that the climate's always been changing. It's natural. It's expected. Our planet and the impact on it. As humans, we can't even be matched by like natural disasters. A lot of people believe one or the other, but here I'm offering right now is a cycle that politicians don't use on the political agenda. There's no propaganda to this one. What if I call it straight down the middle, right? Now, ice is melting, true, right? But ice ages hit our planet every 100,000 years or so. So, of course, the ice from the previous ice fall is still melting, right? So, eventually, once there gets to a serious impact of because usually, probably, I would assume, we're burning a little bit faster, but it's no different than there's giant dinosaurs just crushing shit, just eating a whole tree at a time. I would imagine these giant dinosaur poos just dropped into the ocean, not giving a fuck. Dead bodies washed up on here, blocking river dams over there. I'd imagine that the dinosaurs did quite a bit of damage, and they only lost the Earth. They were here way longer than us, and they lost because fucking a giant comet hit and froze the entire Earth. So that's more likely going to happen, which no one can stop that unless they somehow get a giant robot to be Babe Ruth and just hit that asteroid out the park. It's not going to happen. They're not going to be able to stop. Like, say if the sun just burnt out at any given point. If it's the sun, we're like, oh, dude, we grossly underestimated the sun's burn. It's burning out in 5 days. So we got, but the one, I don't know how the light is, but it would be like, okay, it's burnt out now that we got to worry. But once the light stops emitting gets down to the last bit. So I don't know if it's a million years, but it happened like, I'd assume. Just taking it. I'm literally at the sun burnt out in my mind, the light bulb. Now I'm taking a stab at the dark. Probably 11 days. I want to say 11 days. Probably wrong, but 11 days. Just traveling at the speed of light to get to the sun. Probably. That sounds ridiculous. That sounds 11 days. No, that's a. I'm standing corrected if it's wrong, but I think when the sun melts, well, there's nothing actually. Say the sun melted, what are we gonna do? What if a fucking asteroid just crashed into us? What are we gonna do? What if, say, one planet like Pluto got so fucking tiny that it fell off of the axis, the orbit, and just hit us, right? We can't. What if there's actually life not on Mars, but it's on Jupiter, or we are one of the other 9 planets in our solar system? There's just different kinds of evolution. Like, what if it's like a cockroach species that evolved to transcendent fucking interplanetary travel, and now they're the ones that are controlling the government. What if it was a reptile alien race that was born on Venus, and they came down and started running political nonsense like the fucking climate change in our government at this time? It does feel kind of like that's happening, but you would go, no, that's a crazy conspiracy. It's crazy to even think that the planets that they even suggested during our solar system even have anything. We have no proof currently. It's always, you guys have no proof, and I'm misinformed. How the fuck do I have a feeling in my DNA that there's probably at least some other life even in our solar system on another planet that we don't know about? Because generally speaking, we don't even know like 94% of the ocean. Come on, man. People gotta think for themselves, man. We don't like to we like to deal with cold hard facts at the weekend show. Now, ice ages our planet, right? What are we gonna do? It used to be global warming. That's what they used to be. It used to be global warming. But it was big until our planet got colder. Like, it generally, like, people started measuring it and it got colder. So they're like, now it's it's climate change. And if it got too hot to handle the sun, I think we could offer the planet like that UV, the UV shaders anyways. It would be actually a greater problem to have if we got too warm, because we could just can probably build like nanotech of UV lights. Could do something. You could definitely do something with that idea. But it would be a temporary fix, because it'd be like the roads. You'd have to keep funding it. People would be able to get their paws over another source of income from the government. The thing is, the climate change, this whole activism, the summit meetings, you're paying for nothing. you're making these like, okay, we need to donate for this to affect climate change, but it's not real, man. And you guys gotta know it's a scam. If you ever donated to any climate agency, organization, or whatever, it's scammy. It's very scammy, because essentially to have the impact of any kind of climate reduction is so minuscule compared to what actual companies are just doing every day, that it has absolutely no effect on it. The outcome has no effect either way. If stood that no reduction in carbon, everybody's just trying their hardest to pollute, and we just had giant trash heaps of plastic in the ocean, we'd have enough plastic to eventually create just another city or another country, another continent, big giant avalanche or something. And eventually, I think what people would realize is that we could take that trash in the ocean, create like recycled bridges, or just like make, but it'd start to get plasticky, it'd start to get plasticky, we'd have like plastic everywhere in the moment, and it's not healthy to just have the plastic. So I think it's best to just keep it out and as far away as possible in the ocean. Or if we really wanted to, we could start sending trash into space. But the unknown consequences of littering in space might tick off, some cosmic beings across the galaxy, and we might have to deal with that. So it's better to just clean up our own shit. If your climate change could be reduced to just clean up your own shit. Stop worrying about so much. Stop worrying about so much what people, tell you, like, oh, this is gonna happen. Life isn't gonna stop because you went Kobe and you shot a fucking thing and a banana peel and it missed and hit the thing, and you just never picked it up. You know what I mean? Just never picked up like it on the ground, and it's outside, and it's fucking, it'll rot away eventually and it'll combust, and nothing happens. The funniest thing is that if you it's more natural to throw an apple core on the ground or not give a fuck than anything. And I'm pretty sure even if we started throwing garbage all around and not caring, I think actually, you know what? I'll go as far as to say that I'll go as far as to say, if we all, okay, wait, hold on. I'll keep it. No, I got some stuff that I gotta talk about before that. Now, the climate incentives and green deals they sound great, and they're definitely real. They feel like we're doing our part. But the much research that indicate that, given the percentiles on companies reducing waste and the zero carbon emissions goal consistently and constantly being moved back and forth, it's like, okay, we got to reduce this by this, we got to reduce that by this. In 12 years, we're all going to die. The world's not going to be the same as it was 100 years ago and 200 years ago. These statements are so blankety that I feel warm inside. Because I go, that's just a madman talking outside my fucking place of residence, The trees are gonna be fucking gone by in 13 years. The fucking, we're gonna be eating plastic bugs by fucking 2060. There's gonna be no chance for, there's going to be no chance that there's going to be ice even on the polar ice caps by the end of the 2050. And it's like, all these things are just stuff that people thought of. A couple of people looking at data. A couple of people think that they're weathermen. But dude, do you get a general feeling that the world's just going to freeze over like that? No. And if it did, what are you going to do, man? Come on. End of the day, man, let's go through, or, at the end of the day, let's fucking think about it, man. Do cars pollute? Yes. Do cows fart? Yes. Do you sometimes throw a fucking juice box out the car window and you go, oh man, you feel kind of guilty? You start to sweat. Any of these things will make the average person feel guilty, as if they're solely responsible for why the clouds move, or why the sun, comes back up at the next day. I'll go as far as to say if you shit and pissed anywhere in the street, right, in a river, or on your boss's desk, you just shit anywhere. Used every day you made it your goal to use the most amount of gas and spread the most amount of carbon into the atmosphere as possible, as well as littered as many times, just not giving a fuck, burnt your clothes, did the worst trash management system available. Just made it your whole opportunity. I brought every opportunity to increase the waste and carbon footprint on you personally. You made it your goal to do that. It wouldn't even come close to one company in India or China operating at a business day, and that's 8 hours of our time business day, not their slave labor law business days. I would just say, man, no matter what you do in life, no matter what we do as companies or what we do as communities, like the climate change committees, and then on the summits that they have all across the globe, and that they get there too by private jets. No matter what those guys do, and all other creatures living on this God's green earth, will effectively be nothing that can change if the weather stops. And if it's possible to manipulate the weather, that's some new technology that I've never heard about, never made available to the public yet. We never heard of people's cloud seeding before, right? So we're not going to be able to affect the rock that we're floating on into space. Hundreds of nuclear bombs have been tested in Nevada on Area 51. Would you have thought that just dropping bombs daily on the same structure, would that affect climate change a little bit? Is that close to, hey, Billy over there, yeah, how many bombs did you drop in your backyard? None. Well, you're 153% better than the U.S. government right now as far as waste reduction goes. And that's just in Nevada. We're not even speaking about what Russia doesn't tell us. Not even speaking about what those guys know. All right. Now this is just facts, man. This is cold hard facts to get everybody on board. We're all on the same train, guys. The moment you decide to fight, that's on you. Look at me. Look at how calm I am. Look at how reasonable I am about this climate change. Reasonable about the fact that there's nuclear arsenal weaponry at foot. But it's like, if they all had the jets and the military tested, the fucking piloting and the drone systems and all the weapons have an impact on climate change, but the people who run the country are not ready for that yet. They're not ready for that conversation. But your kids are gonna love it. Your kids are gonna love hearing about that, because it's a pretty big fucking thing to worry about, right? It's a pretty big thing to worry about, where you go, if you're really worried about climate change, and this is an honest look at it, if you're really worried about climate change, ask yourself, why? Why do you support Ukraine in defending itself against Russia? Because there's a lot of emissions going on down there. And all Ukraine and all Zelensky, president of Ukraine, had to say was, today I'm not going to emit any carbon, so we'll let Russia take over, and I will resign, and we'll be led by, which would have eventually would have solved a lot of people not dying, would have solved a lot of people not hurting economically all around the world, and it wouldn't have been $100 billion war that's still being fought to this day, right? So this brings me to another long war that we've all been talking about, Israel and Palestine. Right. Now I was shopping at this facial cream store, This is a beautiful woman, and it's expensive. It's expensive designer fucking cream, right? Diamond infused. I'm not gonna promote them because they don't pay me to, speak about them. But they got pretty good, gear for facial cream, right? And I saw this beautiful woman, right? And she looked like her nose, by the look of her nose, I would assume that she was Jewish. She also, for no reason, told me she was Israeli. She said, "I'm from Israel." And I didn't ask. I asked her for, her thoughts on the ongoing tensions between Israel and Palestine, right? And this is again, I know where I'm at. I'm at a facial cream store, right? I know where I'm at, but I asked her anyways. I asked her her thoughts of the Israeli and Palestinian conflict that's been going on for decades. I asked her, and she said she has no thoughts. She actually said no thank you. And I said what? And then she said no thank you. She wanted to say keep going, but she's a Jew, and she also has seen me as a potential customer, right? Because I was like, I do like these creams. I did buy them before, right? She's like, oh, yeah, okay. So I asked her, I'm like, go through all the products, talk to me about it. And she's not going to do that. I kind of wanted to figure out what she was going. So I asked her, about certain things in the products, because I still wanted to figure out she's a business owner, right? And she's a young Israeli business, beautiful woman too, fat titties. Kind of flat chest. Her titties look like children, to be honest. But she was a dime, beautiful girl, beautiful hair, big nose. She had some weird red cream on her nose, like she was trying to do the cream reduction for the tip of her nose. Looked well rounded actually. She looked very beautiful, right? Beautiful blue eyes, right? Blonde hair, but fat ass, and from Israeli, right? So sometimes Jews do good, Hitler, I'm talking to you. Sometimes they're doing good, right? So this Jewish girl, right, fat ass. Oh, dude, her ass. That's what I said. When she turned around, I seen her ass. Her ass looked like it was like if I had two watermelons. You know what I'm saying? In the plastic bag. They don't sell plastic bags anymore, but imagine those back in the day. This is going to be actually a timestamp on a joke, right? They don't have any more plastic bags as they switched, right, from climate change. They had the plastic bags with two fucking watermelons. And he just staring, I was just staring. She had a fat ass, right? So, but I also wanted to figure out her, because I always tossed around this idea in my head, right? I tossed around this idea that a pretty girl, I want to know what a pretty girl thinks. So I kept going, and she almost, by the look of it, said she was above the Palestinian conflict because she owns a store, right? The way she kind of no thanks, I don't want to talk about that. And I just was like, just because this Jew owns some real estate in North America, she's completely absolved of her own country's suffering in Israel. It's wild to be able to turn your back on. Imagine if people left Earth due to climate change, went to a new place, and was like, I don't care about Earth anymore, right? Now that I'm here on Mars, motherfucker, right? And it became like I hate the people on Mars versus the I hate the people on Earth. It's going to be kind of silly. It's going to be very silly, right? Now, imagine if you're a Jew and you do that with every country that you've been in, though. All right? You go, I'm here now. I don't care about anyone else in that other country. People tend to talk, those countries tend to group together. And they tend to get a little angry, Jews. That's all I'm saying. So I'm trying to figure out this thing. And it'd be nice to know if she knew what was going on in her own country. And I was trying to figure it out. And I was just fucking fascinated because I always wanted to she's a very beautiful woman. She had no reason to be worried about this stuff. But I always thought like there had to be. Don't you have? Eventually, you're gonna have to critically think once in your life as a beautiful woman, because there's some beautiful guys that just don't think. But sometimes they go, okay, I gotta save that boy from a fire. And he's like a big strong guy, but he's a simple guy, meathead, but he's like, this is why I lift. He's lifting up a big thing, and he's like saving a kid at this critical moment at a certain point of action that had to be taken, right? And no matter how simple a big handsome, no matter like The Rock or something, no matter how big and handsome he gets, eventually he's gonna save a dude or something. He could be as dumb as a pole, but eventually he'll drop the people's elbow on one of your enemies, right? But like a pretty woman, like I wanted to figure out, like all she's doing is selling cream. And it's expensive cream. It's expensive cream that I guess it's beauty, but does an animal really need to keep its pores open? It's nice to have like that, but at the end of the day, it's like, okay, well, I need more cream now. Eventually, there's gonna run out of the cream, and it's not gonna get the best results. And the cream people never talk about the weaning myself off cream. Like I can cream myself for the rest of my life, kind of thing. Like I don't know. They're like, yeah, I do it, and it's like, if I wean myself off of it, I didn't have a problem before I started using the cream, and now I need the cream every week. It becomes a fucking tail that eats itself, and I'm tired of, and this metaphor, right, is like, if this country was running fine without the Jews, and that's what I was trying to get her. This is what I was trying to get her to understand. I get what again, I'm at a cream shop, I'm a customer, and I know I place, but I'm trying to get this girl to admit that, like the cream that I didn't need, this business is not needed too, doing this Jew thing. It's like you're creating a problem by telling people their acne's bad, right? I never, until a Jew came in and started saying pimples gotta go. I was like, some people have, people go through stuff. I never felt bad for somebody's acne, man. I go, that's not a true reflection of themselves. Usually they're nice and friendly. People with acne are the most friendliest, as humble and as fuck to get pimples. So it's like, whatever. I suffered from it when I was young. I have acne scars that I'm probably never going to get rid of. But this cream puts a layer of coat that they say it fucking... I think it's just for like literally a week or two, it puts a shine on your face like a buffer. And that's it. And then you got to go get a touch-up again. And then get a touch-up again. It's not the best. They go, it's opening your pores. You're never going to have worry. I go, that's fucking bullshit. Never gonna. My face is always gonna be clean. It takes two trips at McDonald's, a pizza on a weekend, and a fucking night of drinking, and puffed up face again to fucking... Yeah, that's the cream's not gonna get rid of that. Women are so funny, man. And I said all of this to her, right? And I was trying to say, like, literally from a woman's perspective, the relationship, I'm literally hitting home for her and her cultural standpoint. And she said, I have no concern for that. I don't have no concern and time for that. I don't have any concern or time for that. This is what she said. And I offered her, ironically, kind of saying like a hand, like it's like ironically saying like, yo, well, you're so pretty. Why would you have to worry about what, like the concerns of the world, right? And she said exactly. Like it was one of those things where it's like, so yeah, you're so pretty, you wouldn't have to worry about the world, right? It kind of revolves around you, baby. Like, exactly, yeah. She's like, yeah. I have my store. I sell my products. I go, what are you? She kind of went into it's kind of hot though. She went into like a ironic thing. It's like, this is a Palestinian woman right here, she'd do the same thing. And I went, Yes, it's because it's genius, because I can't, it's like she gaslit me into the thinking that, but I'm pretty sure she meant it, right? It's kind of like that irony that we were talking about. And this Israeli, and I'm just making that up, dude. I'll admit that I made that up. That's a lie it's a lie that's too good to be true. But I was really talking with this girl about Israeli and Palestine, and I was really getting a sense that she did not give a fuck about Israeli or Palestinian. But obviously, since she's Israeli, she'd probably be like. But it's weird how she had no comment about him. But she kind of had a little. Don't have to worry about that. That's what she said. Don't. Which kind of even sounds even more menacing. And it's like, there's no sense in even accepting the knowledge from. It's like there's Palestinians and Israelis been fighting, and I honestly don't give a fuck. But I wanted her to give a fuck because she's Israeli, right? Like if I heard that there's the Africans are fighting the white man still to this day, I'd probably get on a podcast and talk about my mind just like I'm doing right now, right? I guess maybe we aren't ready for planetary travel. I think here at the Weekend Show, we have to deny all coverage of we gotta deny all the coverage about everything if we're lying to ourselves, and like with the news and everything. At one point, you're gonna have to tell yourself the truth. And at this point in time, I don't think we're ready to be traveling to planets. We're still trying to deal with our day-to-day thing. What if aliens came once nobody was starving, once all the people that no one was being treated badly? What if the aliens came down and went, great, you finally did it. Took a little while for you guys to do it, but it's okay. Baby steps with every civilization. Yeah, so, okay, everyone's saved. Everyone's doing good. If the planet is thriving, these are the steps you need to take in order to travel the cosmos. And we would start it all over like we did with the boats. Claim a planet's not really claim that this planet's the Indian planet. You know what I mean? Fuck it up again like that. Start battling. It's like PvP. Earth gets PvP mode. It'd be nice because right now it's a standalone game with us, and we're still having difficulty. We're still having little fights. Still not understanding the plot. People are confused. People are checking out. This is too much stuff to read. Don't need it. But I feel like we can, if we truly, get the fucking girl at the cream store to worry about the her own country for a second, and we get the people to worry about the stuff. I guess actually my worry for her trying to be worried about her own conflict, and she didn't give a fuck, and that's something that she's dealing with, and she probably has family, I'd assume. Maybe not, but she's here living her life. She's like, nothing, I can't affect right politics. And that's the same with climate change. Once it becomes political and it's a political tool, most people just check out. And if I'm the guy talking about politics, right, and I'm breaking down what most people talk about, then it's kind of a boring. I guess this show is boring. I just realized that this entire show sucks. It does. It's boring. It's a guy having the most normal take in politics, which gets nowhere. No one votes for the ideal thing in anything. I don't even show up. I go, yeah, it's the obvious. Hey guys, it's all the obvious vote. But then there's like 20 guys that show up and just don't vote or vote for the wrong thing just because it's a goof. And it's like it ruins. There's a lot of things being ruined. A lot of election fraud, right? And the wildest thing with elections, right, that just happened. We just had elections. Isn't it weird when they say that the boxes are like, they do break down? No? Like, they said that before they took the votes. I didn't vote. I didn't even vote out. I go, what's the point in voting? They literally came out and said, well, the boxes do tend to break a lot. And it was like, there was like a statistic, and it was a staggering 50% of them do break down. The box, we become overloaded with votes and just break down, and we just try to back up the server. If the server's not there, well, we just kind of guess it. What? Why would they say such a thing? Why would they? That's an odd thing to say right before an election, guys. That the machines that you vote on tend to break down a day before. You said that a day before. It's gotta be. Maybe it's a fake news site. Maybe the Babylon Bee got me on that one. Maybe. But it is sad when the Babylon Bee becomes the only plan for the elites. They go, what did the Babylon Bee suggest that we do back 12 years ago? Oh, but they just say that they broke down. Okay, we'll do that. No one's looking that far back in their tweets. So, well, this whole thing's about Jews, right? I guess the climate change is about Jews too. Because my friend said that the Jews can control the weather. That's a guy that's been reading a lot of Mein Kampf lately. He's my buddy. He's challenged. He's ethnically challenged. He suffers from being a guy that's white, and he's kind of fed up with this propaganda. I get it. I now get it, though. It's a ridiculous propaganda. It's a ridiculous amount of propaganda for making white people feel bad. It is. White people shouldn't feel bad. I say that a lot. It's if you did something bad. Obviously, if you're a white person and you did something bad, well, feel bad. If any color, you do bad things and not feel bad and go, well, he told me not to feel bad. So, again, my buddy is like, he's a funny guy, man, because he said that the Jews can control the weather, right? And I believe it. But I'm not gonna fucking slang that. I'm gonna keep my biases out of this podcast. Because what I do is I keep my biases out of this podcast. None of this has been my opinion. It's all been just streamlined consciousness, straight from my mouth to the internet, of what the real people want. I talk to a lot of people, man, and a lot of people. There's a lot of rumbling in the streets. It's going like, yeah, don't the Jews control a lot of stuff? Don't the Jews? And the biggest comedy special, without a doubt, right now is Ari Shafir's comedy special dropping on YouTube. Almost perfect timing for when time aligning with Kanye West's malfunction in society. He titled it Jew. And Ari pokes fun at Judaism. He pokes fun at the Judaism he was raised in, while also questioning some of the practices as well, all while somehow not catching fire next to his insane amount of candles. This set, it's a crazy amount. There's so many candles in that set. It was distracting, to be honest. Like the candles, like I remember multiple times throughout the comedy, and I'm just sitting at home, so I wasn't there. And if I was there, I'd probably be fucking kind of pissed at how many candles, because all of those candles would kind of be like a little too much candle. There's one candle, if it sits a room. 2 candles fucking takes the room, dude. You put 2 candles. Go ahead and go to the store, go to Walmart, get those 2-for-1 candles right now. And this is not a plug. This is literally me just proving a point. Go down, pause the podcast, go down, get the candles, light 2 candles in your room right now. Go, dude, this is a lot. This is a lot of, like, 2 candles after 2 minutes is fucking, it fills. It's like, it's hypnotizing almost. That's how this smell. And he had all these candles, right? And I'm sitting back going like, this fucking Jew's user. He must have, because it's fair. The candles are fairly expensive, man. So like to do that, right? That's a flex in itself. There's that many candles on stage, and it's probably one of those candles are probably mine. I probably earned one of those candles sometime in the future, but I wasn't paid for my labor, and it ended up in Ari Shafir's special. titled Jew, where he casually pokes fun at all the things Jews do, like own the banks and the media and the average thought of journalism. The worry with me, right, Mediumjay, in the weekend show, and this podcast, the worry that I have is that the need for the Jew to get into certain industries, and instead of hiring the person that fits the job, once they're at the top of the industry, they don't hire based on skill level, based on seniority, based on merits, honorable, passing grades, physically fit, mentally stable, none of that. They hire just strictly based off of nepotism, and the worst kind of nepotism, because it's the I only want to do race nepotism, which can get a little racist. If I own a bank and I say I only want these groups of people in my bank to work, and you go, well, that's fucking problematic. But customers, anybody can. But then these groups of people tend to just give a couple of percentages off of these groups of people, and they have one say. Like, no one race should have the sorting hat for success, fame, and financial futures. You know what I mean? No, it's like giving fucking the sorting hat to Slytherin, dude. And Slytherin's like, all right, we're gonna put everybody that we want as the strong dudes as Slytherin, and unsmart and losers go pick. You know what I mean? He would just be picking, as opposed to the hat being bipartisan neutral. I thought the best thing in Monopoly is that the bank is just everybody's puts their trust and capital into the bank. And no one, because once the one player starts owning the bank, he gets a little dirty. That's all we're saying about the Jews, people. That's all we're saying about the Jews. And the thing is, man, with nepotism, you gotta go like, dude, Joe Rogan's the one with talent, but somehow Ari Shaffir is also a comedian doing comedy, somehow. Just happens to be friends with Joe Rogan, somehow happens to get all those candles for a special on time. Personally, I don't think Jews are funny to me. This whole comedy special titled Jews, it's so anti-Hitler right now. Like I don't want to have to stand up for Hitler or anything, but like, holy fuck, like, was he right? You know what I mean? Like, did he have good ideas? Because think about it like this. The Jews did do a lot of stuff. They did. And Ari Shaffir highlights it so elegantly. The Jews have this weird tradition where they break chickens' necks. You know what I mean? And then they sell it to KFC and for us. They also poison the fish. They put the blood of their sins into. It's like, dude, just believe in Jesus, man. Jesus Christ, dude. Like, oh, there's no Jesus, so to get rid of our sins, we break a chicken's neck. Like, come on, guys. Jews also believe in this weird thing called Hanukkah, which is like leaving candles for so long that it produces fucking cancer in your lungs. Like, you leave those candles there for so long, at the flame, smelling the soot, you're gonna eventually have trouble breathing. I've let candles go for a long time, came back, and I felt like I wasn't getting oxygen was legitimately stuffed out of my place, right? Plants create oxygen. I think fire, you can kind of know that fire kills plants, which essentially kills oxygen, which would kill fucking the end result of oxygen as well. The end result of a fire, right? So I just find it so problematic, man, because then Ari goes on to specifically say, like, we are good at finances. We are good at this. But I go, dude, wait a minute, though. Jews can't be the only ones good at counting, Because, dude, accounts, but the problem with math, and especially Asians, is that they're at the end of the day, that once they get a position of power, they tend to do the right thing. Like the Asians, as far as China's own shit for so long. Let's be honest. We pretend America's the shit. China's fucking kind. If China wanted to, they could come in, and they already are with TikTok. They already know everything about it, and they got this. They don't want this. They don't want this. You know what I'm saying? Like they had to search for it. They had to figure it out. They had to figure out all our military grade. We've been compromised for a while, right? And the problem with that, and the problem with China, because once they get to the power, they know how to use it, right? And with Jews, this whole thing is the banks working? I don't feel like it is. If inflation hits 10% within 2 years, you go in the route of like a funny money, like Nigerian, like the Kumbabe, the fucking whatever the fuck though, that dollar that fucking went fucking like the Mozambique dollar or something. It just went fucking skyrocketed to like it was like, okay, it's $50 million or whatever in money. Tokens, a unit of measurement for money is like $50,000 for like a loaf of bread, and it just didn't make sense. You had to have so much of it because it was essentially worthless. But that's what inflation is. And it's a stable economy has a steady 1-for-1 thing, right? This dollar can get one thing, and that one thing can be, sizably decent. You get $4, okay, you get a pack of eggs. Once a pack of eggs is hitting $6.99, $7.99, the pack of eggs, and this is a 12-pack. We're not talking about those large ones. Yeah, you can get I used to get those large ones for $6.99. Then it became the 12-pack, that's $6.99. I seen one spot $8.99 12-pack, $8.99, $9. It was probably in like a 7-Eleven or one of those gas stations where they don't really get eggs a lot, so when they do sell them, they have to charge you. But still, man, $9, $8.99 for fucking a pack of eggs. Come on, man. We got like this whole fucking thing. It could be orchestrated by the Jews, or it could just be malfeasance. And it could just be fucking people just not really people being people, right? We could chalk it up to some Jews are bad, some Jews are good, and Ari Shafir was a good guy because he said, you know what, this isn't for me. The entire Judaism, all the practices, everybody, all the relationships my family created, all of this isn't worth the thing that you guys do. And he up and laughed, and I respect that. It's understandable. Now I'll share a story with the people, because I sometimes can go a little overboard with this character and the people that mess with me, right? Sometimes, because there's a lot of people that are out to get Mediumjay. This is sounding kind of conspiratorial, but it's a lot of people that wish the downfall of me in my personal life. I was parked, right? I was parked at a spot. This is the egg in my face story. I was parked to go in, and I was doing DoorDash. This is not DoorDash, skip the dish. This is my part-time job, but you gotta hustle to make it. If you don't have back in the day, I didn't need 2 jobs, but now with the inflation, I need 2 jobs. So I'm driving around, skip the dishes, delivering chow mein to people, literally 2 minutes away. That's all I'm doing. But you can make actually a decent profit. And I shouldn't have said that. I should have said that because I'm not paying my I'm not paying my taxes But the thing is, I didn't really admit this because this whole thing's a parody. The whole podcast is a joke. So just for the sake of the argument that I am going, and I did happen to park my car there, and hypothetically speaking, this fucking guy is like, they're like doing a film set, and then I was joking with the cute East Indian security guard. This cute chick, she was like, I was like asking her, I'm like, what's going on? They got all these cameras, they got this people like, they put on like velvet rope. Oh, they're doing a film. I'm like, what's the film called? And she said it's called Winter. And I go, this is Portage Place in Winnipeg. This is like the worst mall to be in, right? And I go, they sure know how to pick the Portage Place for the movie called Winter. She laughed, and I don't know. I walked away. That's what I do. I will make people laugh and walk away. Like, yeah, there. Next time you see me, you're gonna be laughing. Like that one time, that joke, it still goes on. If you leave on a good note, it's still good, right? What is? Oh yeah, and then I went outside to my park, and then the crew obviously showed up late. He's like talking to me. He's like, "Hey man, idiot, can you see fucking special event parking?" I go, "Buddy, man, he's like eating an egg sandwich or something, and he's like slobbering." And I go like, "Buddy, man, listen, I secured the Asian food. I secured the chow mein and rice into the car. Close the door. Just hypothetically speaking again, it's just so that no one says I'm tampering with food, right? And it's just people's food that I'm dealing with. I'm fucking so clean. This is so clean. I can only keep my food. It's only so clean. It could get so clean. So I secured the bag, right? Literally. And go into the guy's face, and he's now spraying fucking egg all over me. And I got, at a certain point, it's like, what the fuck? Like, I was more mad that like you're fucking with me. Like I was gonna, but then he became like toxic, like literally toxic guy. He's like, oh dude, I'm not gonna be able to beat this guy up, but I'm gonna be able to spit like egg on him so he steps away from me. Look like a dirty ratty dude. Film like looks like the guy that should be holding the camera and not in front of it, right? Film guy. I go like, buddy, this fucking sign says 100. No, wait, it's the fucking 1700 to fucking 2200. It's 1 p.m. I go, do you know how to fucking read military time, buddy? I literally drive for a living. I can be here. I walked around and I look. You maybe do that to the fucking foreigners that don't know any better. I go, I can't read English time. In English numbers yet. You get along with those people, but me, you can't fuck with him. And when I walked in and your guy was kicking another dude out that didn't know, he's like, oh, I don't know, I'm not able. I go, I wish he's talking to me. I'm parking in the fucking taxi thing because you don't know what I'm here for. They can't assume shit. I'm parked in the fucking taxi thing, and it's a special event, this whole thing. And I go, your buddy didn't say anything to me. I looked him dead in the eyes, and I gave him do you want to bring up the sign, right? And he didn't. He looked down. He looked down and away. That's what he did. So I go, you're telling me I'm a dummy. I go, I wish you came outside. I wish you came outside because I'm going to fuck you. That's what I said. I'm going to fuck you up if you're pissed off that I'm parked legally where I am. Just because y'all set up signs, city permits, I don't give a fuck. Something has to be legible for you can't just go, okay, I set it up. Well, and then the sign's wrong, and you blame the guy driving because he read the sign. If the sign says go, but it was supposed to say stop, you legally have no right. Legally. And I was telling him this, and I go like, dude, your sign's fucked. Get it, fix it, change the number, and we'll get back to you. But right now, I'm good. It said fucking 1700 to fucking 1500. And not 2200 to 1500, right? It said 1700 to. So that was the time window where it's the temporary no parking. So you fucked up either coming early or your boss is making you. I'm saying all of this. Either your boss is coming early to make you work and you're taking it on me. I don't give a fuck. And I gave him the finger. And then I doubled back again and I went, I wish you'd come out and I'll just fuck you up. But you're spitting egg and you got egg on your face. I'm going to let you get to work while I'm driving off illegally with that parking sign that says right there. And he couldn't say anything. But I just kept going back, like, is there still a problem though? Like, you know how like black dudes do it. Yeah, I just kept going like, but is there a problem though? Like, am I not in the legal confines of the law of the road? And he was parked diagonally waiting for me to go in. There was room for him to park. He just wanted that spot. He didn't want to go up ahead because I don't think they had that parking spot. But either way, man, it was like, dude, I just wish motherfucker would. Especially parking. Especially when he goes, hey, jackass, you can't read signs. I go, buddy, dude, you can't read the sign because it says literally I'm allowed to be here. It can't be, the parking ban's from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. military time, so there's no argument there. I had to go off on him. I had to hit him where it hurt. I had to call him stupid, called him a bitch. You know what I mean? Call him, tell him I'll knock him out. If he came out, I would have knocked him out. I would have been probably facing assault. But I would have been like, listen, man, he was threatening me. The way he was parked, he was saying he's going to fucking run me down if I didn't move. All this stuff. I had to defend myself. I got to take him out of the car, punch him out, put him back in the car, and tell him to have a nice day because, listen, I don't want him fucking tailgating me. Make him circle the block a couple times while I pull out of the... You know what? It sounds fucked, but I mean, you could do that because you could go, this guy's fucked. He's just making it up. I don't know. I was in Portland Place, didn't even see the cameras. They were just hidden. They were well hidden. I didn't see anybody with cameras. I think this guy was just a lunatic telling me he's fucking gonna come home and rape me. He had one of those fucking vans, those fucking white vans with tinted windows, because those crew guys. I don't know, man. So what it said, Star Productions. That sounds fake. Fuck them. So, I mean, this whole thing, like, and to be honest, like, I don't want to be that guy. He looked Jewish, but he acted like a nigger. He acted like a nigger. But he was a white guy. But he acted like a nigger. He was mad niggerish, eating a sandwich while telling me I ain't shit. It was wild. It was a wild, but he was a Jew. Or he looked like one, at least. He looked like an old white guy. But to be honest, dude, I'm thinking, like, there's no way a Jew would have let another one. And if that's the case, there's people of all walks of life getting mad at people for parking, from all the way up to getting mad at people parking their money in their bank, right? At the end of the day, at the weekend show here with Mediumjay, we like to be open to everybody, and whether you're Palestinian or Israeli, or whether you're on climate change or against it, and whether you're on the earth or you're somewhere else, you know, the delusional fantasies that Earth doesn't even exist. There's going to be a point when someone says Earth isn't even real. It's a conspiracy on that. But we'll get to that when we get to that, right? End of the day, wherever you lay your head down at this God, you know, on this beautiful planet, and if you believe in God or you don't believe in God, or either way, I'm going to keep it right down the middle again. Wherever you lay your head on the bed, and if you don't have a bed, you have a cot or whatever, a little fucking bale of hay, or fucking down by the river like one of these homeless people. I'd have to ask, how are you listening to this? Focus on secure. My bed is, you know, I talk a lot of shit about homeless people, but I'm sleeping on virtually nothing. I'm sleeping on just a mattress, right? It's fucking wild. It's wild. My mattress is literally just like 5 springs put together.